Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer and today, is Monday. I'll film this on Saturday because I'm not going to have time to film this because a lot of things. But on Monday, we do a video called Monday Makes and I show you what I have been making for the past 7 days, give or take. But last week was Christmas, so this is my finished object, is the one and only finished object. I mean, I have some spinning things I'm going to show you, but that I started that on Christmas Eve, so the 24th. Today is the 28th. So because I only worked on it a little bit every day because of the Christmas festivities, it took me 4 days to finish the cardigan. The cardigan is a men's cardigan. It is similar to the Sandy cardigan, but I changed the stitch and used the stitch from Luke's blanket. So we're calling it the Luke stitch. And I will show that in greater details in a few moments because I just finished it. And I'm recording this video on Saturday because the recipient, which is RJ, which is my daughter's boyfriend, is coming over soon and I don't want him to see it. I want to wrap it up. So we will discuss that in more detail in a moment. Now, what else did I make this week? Because it was Christmas week. I made a whole mess of cookies. I made thumbprint cookies, and I made butterscotch chip cookies, and I made chocolate chip cookies, all of which were gluten-free. And I passed them out to the neighbor across the street, and I passed them out to the tow truck driver that came on Christmas Day. Because my beautiful son took the only pair of keys we have for the truck and went out to the truck to test out an AM FM receiver that he got for Christmas because he is a technology nerd and we found it for like $5 at Ollie's. And he locked the keys directly into the truck. And yeah, luckily we have lockout service with our insurance, but man, our insurance is we are getting our monies out of the insurance this year. Between the accident forgiveness from Mr. Cinnamon's car accident to Juju getting hit by an intoxicated driver and now lockout service, like oh yeah, our insurance company's gonna be mad. Christmas Day, home week came up, he like he was actually telling Mr. Cinnamon he's hungry, he's gonna go home and have a slice of pizza. And it's Christmas Day. I made him a plate of cookies and I ran them out there as he's lighting his cigarette. It was an older guy. I was an older dude. And I was like, Merry Christmas, thank you for unlocking our truck. And I handed him the cookies. He's like, thank you. And I ran away. They were good cookies though. I ain't gonna lie. My thumbprint cookies are the best. If you don't believe me, go make some with that recipe I posted. Because I shared the recipe. That was my mama's thumbprint cookies. And all I do is I'd use gluten-free flour instead. And they are num-nums in my tum-tums. And then you guys also kind of saw, if you watched that video, or I showed you I got this amazing drum carder right here for Christmas. Which I'm not going to turn the camera and show you. But it's right here on my desk. She's going to stay right here. I'm going to name her because my spinning wheel's name is Betsy. And all my mannequins have names. This is Winifred. She's backwards though because RJ doesn't have boobs, so I needed to measure what it looked like on a flat chest. So I flipped her around. And he's also a lot skinnier than her. She's a 2X and he is not. So it's kind of like pulling a little bit, but it's because she has boobs on her back. And he does not, and he's skinnier than her. So, like I said, we'll talk about that in detail. So, on the carder, I put some yarn. Fluff. I used fluff. And I already showed this, so if you saw this part, I'm sorry if I'm re-showing it, but I'm super excited about that. And I want to play with it. And now that I finished Rjs Sweater, I can play on my carder. And I can spin some more yarn. So, with all of that, we're not going to go into all of that. But, this is called a bat. Okay, like batting. And you can spin off of this, but you could also, and I showed this in another video, you could pull off thin pieces like this, and you spin from this, And I'm making this a big old mess, but it's fine because it stinks anyway. It stinks, and the reason it stinks is because, and I also explained this, and again, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself to you, but the purplies, this and this one, no, this one, I know you can't see, there's purple and then there's blue. So those ones are roving, which is already drafted pieces. It's already thin, flat pieces that you spin straight off of. They smelled because they were from a creative reuse store, which is like a craft thrift store, and they smelled really dusty and musty, but they were bagged up, and I didn't know how bad they smelled when I bought them, and I have not washed them yet. They are getting washed before they touch anything else again, because even this, and this is only partially those two, because I mixed a bunch of this in, it still stinks. And I Febrezed it, I laid it out to air out, and it needs to be soaked in soapy water and washed. And one of you actually is an expert and gave me, I'm going to say you're an expert. I don't know that you're an expert, but like the advice she gave me was really good. Like, just wash it. If it gets felted, you can put it back in there. Like, it's not a big deal. Just wash it. It stinks, right? So I'm going to wash it. It's back there in a bag on punishment because it does stink really bad and I just don't want to deal with it. But so I made this. I made 2 of these, and it's not perfect because it's the first time I ever used that machine. And after I made this, I split it in half and I spun half of it on my new bigger bobbins. And this is the yarn that I created, that I spun. It is very intentionally fat and thin at the same time. Like, I want it to be more of an art yarn because it's not very soft yarn. This stuff is soft. The other stuff is not. And I don't know. I might even felt it after I make something out of it. Like if I crochet or knit it up and then I could felt it. Because I have a felting kit now. Thank you, Texana. And see, isn't that cool? So I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm going to finish. I'm going to spin this on here. We're going to turn it into a cake. Whatever. Cake. Probably a cake. We're going to work it into something and we're going to wash it first. Once it's yarn, it's going to get washed. So you put it on the carder, you put it on the spinning wheel, and then I wash it. And then I also have to wash the other stuff because it stinks and it made my hands even stink. Like it was, ugh. So that's really what I've made this week. And then we come to the RJ cardigan. Right, let me just put her more central so you can see. Now, like I said, it's not laying right on her because she's bigger than he is. And I'm going to say this is like a large, extra large, and I've never made anywhere near that size before. I take that back. I made one of my beach cardigans, the Beach Cardi, which is one of my very few patterns, written patterns. It is in my Etsy shop. I made one of those in a size medium for my niece years ago. Now, I have not made a whole lot of cardigans or sweaters with sleeves. With that being said, I have always made my size, or yeah, Lucas's size. And Lucas's size last year was like an 8-10 in little kids. So, and I had him here to measure off of his body. Like, here, try it on. Here, try it on. Here, try it on. I measured and measured, okay? This, I didn't want RJ to know about it at all. It's a secret. And so I wanted to incorporate a more masculine stitch. So I used the Luke stitch from Luke's Blanket. And I went black and gray fading out to just the gray. So this is all puzzle yarn from Premier Yarns. The black is puzzle black. The solid colors. The gray is, I think, Sudoku. I still have 2 left. This took 4 for a large, extra large in Man's, and it's meant for someone who's over 6 feet tall. So it took 4 skeins altogether, 2 black, 2 gray for the whole thing. And I'm shocked the black stretched as far as it did because the sleeves are entirely black. Because he's an emo kid and he is very like hardcore, grungy, rock-ish, plays the guitar. He has long curly hair. if he wore eyeliner, Juju would be ecstatic, but he does not. But he's an emo kid. We used to call it burnouts back in the day, because a lot of times those type of kids that dress like that were accused of being stoners, but he's not a stoner at all. But he has that look of alternative emo, you know. I hope. I haven't given it to him yet, so I don't know if he's going to love it. I think he will appreciate that I made it for him. I really hope it fits his arms, because he was not here for me to measure any of this off of. I put it on my niece, who is 5 foot. She's a foot shorter than him, to measure like width and arms, because she's a large, extra large in women's. And Juju is the exact size of my model here, so it was tight on her, but she was still able to wear it. So he's somewhere around in between those two. I'm hoping that everything fits him perfectly, because that I want it to be perfect for him, because I feel like I really made this with love, like a lot. I put all my love into this for him. And if you don't know, he was with my baby girl when she got her car accident, and he fully saved her. Like, she was in shock, and he got out, took action, and got her out of the car and out of the middle of the road, because she was not able to understand that she was still in the road when the car hit them. And he saved her life. Like, I fully believe that. Now, he got her home safe. He took care of her. He even, like, I was on the phone with him. He's like, baby, you're cold. You need to go get in the shower. He's getting her extra blankets. He made her get in the shower, get her nice and warm, while his feet were soaking wet. Like, he took care of her when I couldn't reach her. So that's why I designed him his own sweater. Now, the arms, I did not do a whole lot of decreasing. They're just kind of like, there's one row of decrease here and one row of decrease here. Just because I wanted it to be more form-fitting around his wrist, so that, if you don't know, people who are neurodivergent, ADHD, autistic, he's ADHD. I'm ADHD. Lucas is ADHD. My niece might be autistic. Like, I'm very familiar. A lot of times, we put our hands in our sleeves, and we do this a lot. It's a stimming thing. He does it. And so I wanted his sleeves to be long enough and close to his hand so it felt comforting, because it's squishy yarn. So I took that into consideration, you know. It's a good, I even tried it on, like, it's way past where it should be. And then I'm like, okay, well, he's 6 feet. If he's 6 feet tall, his wingspan from fingertip to fingertip is 72 inches. And then you take off like maybe 3 inches so that's not past his fingertips. So then I figured 33-inch sleeves from the center to here, 33 inches. Hope they're long enough. I hope they're wide enough, because they're like real tight on my, but I got bat wings and he don't. So I'm just hoping that it fits him everywhere. So like I said, we started with the black, and then we faded the black and gray, and then we just did just gray, and then I did just trim. All the trim is black, so black sleeves, black collar, and then I ran out of yarn. I only had a small ball left. So the bottom, it's not ribbing because I didn't rib it, is supposed to be black, so that this went around and was just black. But like I said, I ran out of black. So I did the gray at the bottom and then just trimmed it in the last tiny little bit. Like, I played yarn chicken with the gray and the black. And they both made it to the end. So there's black just on the trim. Turn around, sweetheart. Ignore her boobs. This is what the back looks like. And like I said, this part lays normal on a normal person. But because this is her front, it's laying real weird and gappy on her, and he's also not this big. But this is the back, so still we have the black fades into the gray. It's seamed down the center here, but I think it looks very cool, and it reminds me of like retro emo. So it's giving me like, you know, back in like the 60s or maybe even the 70s when guys would wear sweaters. Not ironically. I mean, I know that there are still guys who dress nice and wear a nice sweater with like a tie and a, like, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of movies, because I was not alive in the 60s. I was barely alive in the 70s. I'm thinking of like all the movies where the guy just walked around with those real nice, like, sweaters, you know? Mr. Rogers, if you will, with his gray sweat cardigan. Or like, this is given like, I don't like Charlie Sheen as a person, but it's given like the Charlie Sheen like bowling style shirts, because it fades the design outward. So I'm sure that he will let me take a picture, because he also is a YouTuber and he understands sharing things on the internet for our friends. For our subscribers, he lets me take pictures of him to share. I'm sure he will let me take a photo of him when he tries this on. Now, I told the cinnamon buns this, but I'm going to share this with you as well, because I really hope that it makes him cry. And I know that that sounds harsh. When we went to Busch Gardens, he was cold, and he doesn't have a jacket. I'm going to tell, I hate telling somebody else's story, but his grandpa died a year ago, okay? His grandpa died in November, December. It was very recently, because he just celebrated the 1-year anniversary. He was very close to his grandpa. His grandpa was very sick for a while, okay? He had a real hard time. He was here because the car accident happened, and then the anniversary of his grandpa's death was like the next day or the day after that, and he was here that whole time, and he was having a hard time. Now, we understand what that's like, because grandma passed away this year. So we're all kind of dealing with, like, we know what loss feels like. I've lost both my parents. There's everyone that's been important to me is gone. So I understand that. And he was wearing his grandfather's coat. And Bentley is very crazy when RJ comes over and scratched up his coat and ripped it. So I feel really guilty, because he's walking around without a coat on, because he doesn't want to mess his grandpa's coat up anymore. And I told him, I was like, I'll fix it. Like, bring it. I'll try to fix it for you. I have a sewing machine. I have the capabilities to fix things. And he said he's just going to take it to a tailor, and hope that they can fix it. But I felt bad about that. And when we went to Busch Gardens, he didn't have a coat on. And so I had my Christmas cardigan on, and I was like, I was sweating. I was having such a hot flash. Like, I was steaming. I was so hot. And I was like, just take my sweater. Like, if you don't mind wearing a sweater, just put my sweater. I don't care. He put it on, and it was so warm because I was having a hot flash. And it was, honestly, it was a relief to get that thing off and breathe. And he put it on. He's all, oh, it's so warm. And he's putting the sleeves on. Now, the sleeves are too long on him because I'm much wider than he is. I made that sweater too big for me even, but I love that it's so big. Like, it's a 4, it might even be a 5X. It's huge. Like, I can wrap it all the way around myself. I made it really big, okay? And I did that on purpose because I wanted it to be comfortable. And leave it, Oreo. I've been locking her out because she just keeps over and over again popping that door. She hates it closed. And then Ponyo comes in here and thinks my rug is her toilet, and then I get mad and I start yelling. All right, so he whispered to Juju at some point, like, this sweater is so warm and comfortable. It's like wearing a hug. It's like wearing a blanket, you know? He's all, man, I wish your mom would make me one. And of course, she tells me everything. Everything. Okay? She immediately told me. I was like, I won't make him a sweater. Because it's not often you get a man or a boy that wants to wear crochet. And I love making things for other people. And my niece can't wear crochet because her eczema is so bad that she just cannot wear it. She wants to. She likes it. She loves this. She didn't want to take it off. But she can't. She just can't. It makes her arms break out really, really bad. And I haven't found a yarn yet that she is okay with. And Juju will wear it once, and then I don't ever see it again, or it ends up on the floor or in the laundry. And I think because I make so much, it's not as important to her. Like, she doesn't take care of it as well. Mr. Cinnamon will not wear anything that I make because he doesn't want to mess up his hair. He doesn't want to do this. You know, he's a little bit bougie. Okay? He wears a suit to work, and in order for me to get him to wear crochet, I have to make him something really nice and fancy out of wool, which I have. But he also won't wear a hat because he doesn't want to mess up his curls. because his hair does get really frizzy and like kind of nappy. So he's Mexican, so he has like textured hair, and it just turns, Juju has his hair, like it just turns to frizz in a second. Like you walk past it, it knots up. So I'm like, I will absolutely make that boy a cardigan. And now I'm like, I kind of want to make Lucas one in the grays because I just think that would look real nice on him. I don't know if he would wear it though. And the way he's growing, oh my God. So I was more than happy to make this cardigan for RJ. Might as well call him my new son because I just might as well, okay? Yeah, I busted my butt. I have been, every free bit of time I've been working on this cardigan for him because like I said, I started on Christmas Eve, but I only was able to crochet maybe half an hour. And then Christmas Day, I didn't want to work it on anything. I just wanted to be at Christmas Day, you know, so I kind of didn't do anything Christmas Day. And when I say today's the 28th, I really, really buckled down on it yesterday because it's the only time I had. And then between today and yesterday, I was able to finish it. And I'm really, really glad that I finished it. And it looks beautiful. And you know, I have so many doubts, like, is it going to fit him? Because to me, I have a really hard time judging other people's body size because, you know, I'm used to just what looks good. Does that look like it's going to fit me? Is all I can judge it by. And with him not being here, I can make anything in any size for anybody if I have them here to measure it off their body. And I'll go, oh, and I'll pull that back a couple rows, readjust, pull it back a couple rows, readjust. I couldn't do that with this. And I actually made myself sick to my stomach yesterday because I was so sick with worry that it's not going to fit him. And Juju wasn't here. She was at work, so I couldn't put it on her. And it looked like it fit my niece too well. And she's like 5 foot. He's 6 feet. And I'm like, I went into panic. I'm like, oh, please, 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 like, let me not mess this up. Like, let it work out. I was so scared I had tanked the whole thing. And now that it is complete, the sleeves are super tight on my arms, but he is way, way skinnier than me. And if the sleeves are not quite long enough, I can add length with the gray. I'm not going to like that. I'm going to be mad that I don't have, that it's gray at the bottom. But I can do that. And if it's too narrow here, which I don't think it will be, I can add gray there, but I really would hope that it fits him. But also, crochet stretches with wear. And so even if it's a little bit, I know because mine stretched out. It will stretch out. The only problem I'm having right now is my dog will not stay off of me, and his little white hairs are all over this thing. So that's going to happen anyway, because if he wears it at all at my house, it's going to be covered in dog hair. Little white Bentley hairs or little brown Poncho hairs. But Poncho's not really shedding, so it's Bentley. It's Bentley. But, yeah, I'm proud of it. And now I'm like, I kind of like making men's sweaters. And I really like that not only am I able to make, we're calling it the Sandy cardigan, even though it's a different stitch, it's technically the RJ cardigan or the Lucas cardigan because that's Luke stitch. That's from the Luke blanket. I like that such a simple design that I designed can be made for men, women, all sizes, doesn't matter, different colors. You can change out the stitch very easily and it does not change the actual basic pattern of the cardigan. I did that. I'm pretty proud of that. You guys don't even understand because I was so scared to make cardigans. I made the Koigu cardigan and the sleeves are too short even to this day because I didn't feel like fixing it. And it's a beautiful cardigan, but I couldn't recreate it because I just was fudging my way through it to not only make a cardigan that can be recreated, and this is now my 4th cardigan I've made, can be altered in all kinds of ways. That made me really happy and proud of myself because I was so scared and because I had no idea what I was doing. And I still have had a few people in the Facebook group comment, I'm so scared to make a wearable. I get it. But make one for yourself first and keep trying it on. And if you mess up, try again. I promise you can get it. I promise you can. If I can do it, and I know it's easy to go, oh, she has a channel, like she must know everything. I don't. I do not know everything. I do not have all the answers, and there's a lot I don't know. And sometimes I get on here with absolute confidence and I have no clue what I'm actually doing. And that is the key to success, people. Pretend like you know what you're doing. Even when I'm doing, this is a little secret just between us, okay? Sometimes I'm doing tutorials, I have not even written the pattern. I'm just filming myself making it. And sometimes I mess up a little bit. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to cut that clip out. And then I frog it back. And then I do something completely different that works better. And it makes a tutorial. I know not everybody has the talent to do that. Because tutorials are not easy. And I'm not going to pretend that they are. I have a very, I'm going to call it my superpower, and I think it might be ADHD related. Like, I think because my brain works differently than the average Joe, I think I'm able to tap into different parts of my brain, and like, I am much more better and more creative under pressure and not knowing what I'm doing than I am if I was, like, I hate following patterns. My brain is like, no, we're not doing this. I need to do something else. And that's just my superpower. And I know some of you are like that. Some of you are like, I need a pattern. And that's okay. We all are different. It is okay to do things differently, you know, or to understand things differently, or to have a hard time and just you're trying your best. All that is okay. We make mistakes here on Cinnamon Stitches, and we don't pretend we're perfect at all. None of us do. We're over here like, look what I did. And we laugh about it because, oh my God, I screwed this up so bad. Now, if this thing does not fit RJ, I'm going to cry, and then I'm going to laugh about it, and I'm going to try to probably make him another one, but I'm going to have to order more yarn, and it's going to be a whole thing. But, yeah, I will absolutely post pictures somewhere in this video if it fits him perfectly, and I know that he will let me take a picture of him. I think he likes the attention. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go. Mr. Cinnamon should have been home a while ago. He went to go buy a ham. I don't know where the heck he's at. I had to take him to go drop his car off because where in the heck? He went on a trip and didn't tell me where he was going. Okay, so here's the thing, okay? We had to go take his truck in because there was a recall on it. And they still haven't properly fixed it, which is irritating. Oh, we fixed it. We just didn't reset the codes. No, you didn't reset it properly. You didn't do it correct. I'm so tired of the dealer with the dealer we've been dealing with. They are just not, they don't want to accept Mopar coupons anymore. They don't want to like give you a deal at all. Like, and they're overcharging for stuff, and they're like half-assing everything with the repairs. I'm just like, I'm so done with these people. Ironically enough, the car dealer right next door, which is where we got Juju's car from, guy's totally nice, bending over backwards to help us, trying to get it. He's searching to find us a new car within our price range for her, and he was real helpful with when we bought her car from them. He was supposed to be on the used car sales part, but he was on the new part for the day, and he was like, my daughter has this car. It's safe. It's reliable. It's held up. It's got great gas mileage. He's talking this car up, and it was like a real good price, right? And so I'm like, okay, and it's safe in an accident. And that's what he told us and he wasn't lying. When we bought it, he's all, it's safe in an accident. It's got really good airbags. It's got this, it's got that. And he said his daughter wrecked it and had to get a new one. And like, he immediately went back to that specific car because he knew they don't make that car anymore. But that's why we bought it, because his daughter is a little bit older than Juju, and he, you know, he swears, he said, if I'm putting my daughter in it, I'm telling you that you could trust this car with your kid. Sure enough, he wasn't lying. So you know he's getting our business back. Like, hey, can you help us out again? Like, help us find her car. And he's doing exactly that. He's like, well, I will stay within your price range, and this is what we got, and I will look and see what else we have. And an honest older man who is more interested in the safety of our daughter, because he has a kid her age, than he is about making more money on a higher price car. That is rare in the car industry. That is very, very rare. So he is absolutely in our business again. But we still haven't gotten. They totaled her car, and it's the insurance company. We're waiting on them to pay off the car and send us the overage to put towards the new car. And refinance another loan to get a new car, and it's like a whole hassle. It's a pain in the neck. And Juju is real tired of being driven around, and she just wants to. She had freedom in that car, and she's now, mom and dad are driving her back and forth to work. She hates that. And her boyfriend has to come here to visit her. She can't go drive out to see him, and like, there's not privacy in my house at all. So they can't even have a conversation without Lucas entirely interrupting every conversation, because he is in love with RJ. Because RJ is nice to him, and RJ understands, because RJ is just like him. Which is crazy. RJ, he keeps saying, like, if I look at Lucas, like, that was me when I was little. And it's so crazy, because so many of you have shared stories about Lucas. Like, my kid was just like him. My kid turned out great. My kid was just like Lucas, and my kid is graduated college and is an engineer, or works for the government, or is in the Air Force. Like, so many of the stories you guys have shared with me about your children who had the same issues as Lucas and grew into it, like, that inspires me, and it gives me hope for the future. But seeing someone in person who says from his own mouth that he was exactly like Lucas, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, you are such a good person though. Like, he treats my daughter with respect. He puts her needs ahead of his own. Everything you want for a partner. And this is just like a first love thing. I'm not expecting it to turn into anything other than that. But when you want your child to end up with a partner, you want someone who's going to do all the things that he's doing. He is not perfect, but he's a really good first start. If it turns into more, it turns into more, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? And to see someone that I have grown to respect and care about as a person, I'm like, it wouldn't be so bad if Lucas turned into somebody like him. Because, like, he's thoughtful. He's kind. What else can you ask for? He's respectful. He calls me ma'am, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's like, I'm not a ma'am. You can call me mom. You can call me Jen. Oh, he can call me ma'am. I let him call whatever you want to call me. I don't care. It just makes me feel old. Sometimes I still feel like I'm 20. But yeah, that's what's going on in Cinema Stitches Land. I gotta go wrap this before he comes over, because I don't know what time he's actually coming. And then we gotta go pick up Juju from work. And with that, I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.